Hello, this is the Bible in fewer words. We are Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 46, Leviticus, chapter 11. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Carol.
Are you telling me we're only doing one chapter today?
One chapter, but it's an important one.
Okay. Did we have a promise about this one before? That we were going to learn God's taxonomy?
Yes, this is God's taxonomy.
And what does this have something to do with clean and unclean?
Yeah, it's a very simple taxonomy. There's only two phyla. However, I'm not sure what the particular rank is, but it's just divided into two groups.
Okay, and are the words clean and unclean in this text?
Yes, and abominable is another word for unclean.
All right, well, I guess we'll just dive in then.
Okay. This is God speaking.
Oh, God speaks.
We're getting it directly from God. Okay, so verse 1. God said to Moses and Aaron, "You may eat animals that are cloven-footed and chew the cud."
Okay, we have to stop right there.
Okay.
Cloven-footed.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine like a deer.
Yeah. Even a pig has a cloven foot. So it's any animal with a hoof that is like divided.
All right.
Another way of putting it is a divided hoof.
Okay. And chewing the cud, I'm thinking of a cow and all the different stomachs it has.
So it's basically chewing the cud and having a cloven foot. And if you have both of those, you're good.
Oh,
an animal
you're clean.
is clean. Yes. And you may eat animals like that. But don't eat animals that don't chew the cud and divide the hoof.
So they have to have those two things.
Yes. Like the camel, don't eat it, since it chews the cud, but it doesn't divide the hoof. It's unclean to you.
Okay, so is the whole rest of this chapter going to be God giving us examples of what is clean and unclean?
Yes, defining and telling and clarifying what is clean and unclean. Mm-hmm.
And how did those people know about chewing the cud and which animals did that?
I don't know, but God knows, and so He'd probably explain it to them if they asked.
All right. Like a cow has several stomachs, right? And they kind of regurgitate the chewed up fluid
I think that's
into
the idea.
other stomach.
Right.
And God likes that.
Well, and when I say that God knows that, in verse 5 kind of indicates that He doesn't.
Well, let's get there then.
Okay.
Verse 5, don't eat conies or hares, since they chew the cud, but don't divide the hoof. They are unclean to you. So another example of, he just told us, don't do the camel, don't eat the conies. And a coney, like, is that a hot dog?
No, I think it's similar to a hare, but the hare, like a rabbit-like animal, God says here that it chews the cud but doesn't divide the hoof. So its hoof is not divided, right? But He says that it chews the cud, and they don't. So
they don't chew.
They don't chew the cud.
Oh, okay.
Chew the cud. So that's a problem. But in any case, it has to do both, and they actually do neither, so it's unclean. So that's pretty clear.
Pigs divide the hoof and are cloven-footed, but they don't chew the cud, so they are unclean to you. So now I'm adding this whole other layer of God's thinking in here, and I can't pass the test because I don't know if this is clean or unclean.
Yeah, it does. It does give you a new way of looking at animals, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I'm going to flunk this test.
I've never thought of animals as being clean or unclean in particular. I mean, even pigs, I don't even think of them that way. Animals just kind of are. They're the way they are.
Yes. So I didn't finish that verse 8 there. Don't eat them or touch their dead bodies.
And them as pigs.
Them as pigs.
Don't eat them pigs.
Okay.
Or
right.
touch their dead bodies. Don't do that.
But can you touch their live bodies?
I don't know. You certainly can't touch their dead bodies. That's all we know here.
Thank you.
Okay, verse 10. Every animal that lives in water and doesn't have both fins and scales is an abomination to you. don't eat them or touch their dead bodies. So from this, what do we think about then shrimp?
Well, shrimps have kind of a scaly thing. I know when I clean shrimp. But is that a scale?
No, it's not.
Okay.
He's thinking fish scale.
Oh, fish
I
scale.
think pretty clearly. So if it doesn't have scales like a fish, then it's and fins like a fish. It's pretty much fish is all it's good. Any kind of seafood that isn't a fish is an abomination.
Okay.
So,
that's too bad because there's a lot of those abominations that are really good to eat.
yeah.
Okay. The following birds are...
And I want to just stop there a little bit too, because I think this is the first time that he's used the word abomination. And it's a very strong word.
Yes, it is.
That's saying that God intensely dislikes and is disgusted by
whatever follows.
Yes, whatever is an abomination. So,
which is
like all
weird.
the shrimp and
because
seafood that isn't fish.
It's odd because he created all of them.
Very
for Adam.
strange. Very strange for the Creator to consider his creations abominable. But he clearly does.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and this next one to me is abominable that he would think these are abominations.
Yeah.
The following birds are abominations: eagles, ospreys, vultures, kites, ravens, owls, nighthawks, gulls, hawks, cormorants, swans, pelicans, storks, herons, lapwings, and bats. Which of these things is not like the other?
Well, to God, a bat is just an unclean bird.
I see. He's wrong about that.
Yes, he is. He's wrong about these birds being abominations, too. These are wonderful creatures.
Yes, they are. A heron. To
Yeah,
see a
an
blue
eagle. Yeah, an owl, nighthawk. These are all wonderful birds.
Even vultures
God
are
just isn't much of a birder, is he?
No, he isn't.
No.
Okay.
All birds that creep, going on all four, are an abomination to you. So any of those four-legged birds, they're abominations.
Don't eat them.
I don't know what God had in mind here, because there really aren't any four-legged birds, right?
Yeah. You may eat any flying, creeping thing that goes on all fours with legs above their feet.
Uh-huh.
All right. Legs.
He's got feet down below his knees.
Yes.
Yeah, so any four-legged, flying, creeping thing with legs above their feet.
That is just
You may
bad
eat them.
observation.
You can eat them if you could find.
If
If
you
you could
could
find
find
something
them.
to fit that description, you could eat it. But all other four-footed, flying, creeping things shall be an abomination to you.
Yeah, this gets more and more bizarre. Whoever touches the carcass of a dead, unclean thing is unclean until the evening. And what's the magic about an evening?
I don't know, but it happens over and over again in Leviticus that whatever it is that is causing you to be unclean, you're unclean until the evening.
Without even having to wash or...
Sometimes you have to wash, but you're still unclean until the evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Weasels, mice, tortoises, ferrets, chameleons, lizards, snails, and moles are also unclean, creeping things.
I guess God regrets having created those.
Yeah.
'Cause they're all
Lizards. Lizards. Oh, man.
Chameleons.
Yeah.
They're all
Tortoises.
pretty amazing.
Cool animals.
Whoever or whatever touches a dead, unclean beast will also be unclean, including vessels, wood, clothing, skin, sack, oven, and pots. The unclean thing must be washed with water and will be unclean until the evening.
An unclean earthen vessel must be broken.
Again, with breaking pots,
Yeah.
valuable pots.
That's right. For no good reason, right?
If you touch the body of a beast that dies of natural causes, then you will be unclean until the evening. And if you eat its carcass, you must wash your clothes and be unclean until the evening.
Every
Yes.
creeping thing that creeps upon the earth is an abomination. Don't eat them.
Every creeping thing.
Yeah.
So the new little...
Even four-footed flying creeping things with legs below their feet?
Probably. Don't make yourself abominable or defile yourself with any creeping thing that creeps. Okay.
This is the law of the beasts.
That is a cool line, isn't it?
It is.
Well, okay, there's a lot of giggling there. But
Yeah.
at bottom, there are some clean things and there are some unclean things.
Right. And they're also, the unclean things are also abominable. It's a matter of taste, really. But since God is disgusted by certain animals, many animals, maybe even most animals, he wants us to be too, and not to touch them, or at least their dead bodies, and not to eat them.
And, God's making the rules.
Yes. And there's really no excuse. If you believe in the God of the Bible, there's no excuse for not following these rules seriously.
So
So,
kind of a silly episode here.
yeah, it was. But it's important to God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
we
it
had
should
to
be
do it.
important to us.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.